Well, men, welcome back to the shop. I'm Chris with M7 Metalworks, and I've got an unusual project in the shop today. This is a pulpit. It's a fairly older pulpit. It's a friend of the family's. I believe it was his grandfather's pulpit that he actually preached at, a Baptist preacher, and this is a Baptist pulpit. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to refinish this. And I'm actually going to do a few things different about it. I'm not just going to finish it in the wood. I'm going to leave this wood colored. I'm going to leave these vertical pieces of wood, just a regular wood, a stained wood, and probably try to keep that base wood color. And then the rest of it's going to be white on the outside here. And then all on the inside, I'll leave all of that wood. So, interesting project. I don't know if that's something, I'm not M7 Woodworks, I'm Metalworks, but I do quite a bit of woodworking periodically, and I just don't videotape a whole bunch of that. So, this will be kind of a fun project. I don't have much time, so I don't know how good this video is going to be. I've got to get this cranked out in about 9 days. And so that's not much time because it's going to ship here from Indiana to Texas in 9 days. And so I need to have it done. So because of that, it's going to minimize some of the videotaping. But just know that first off, I'll start the sanding project and get this whole thing sanded down. I've got some repairs on it as well. It's got a center section here that rises and lowers. And I'll kind of show you some of that stuff and bring you in for a close. Okay, so here's the pulpit. So you can see there's some damage here. Somebody's jerry-rigged that. I've got it on a little floor dolly just for ease of moving it around. Got a lot of issues inside. Of course, you can see where it was probably refinished one other time, or maybe that's original. Had some runs inside there. I suppose they probably didn't matter too much simply because it's not really seen. But pretty dusty, pretty dirty. Got a lot of little nicks and that kind of thing. It's not going to be restored like perfect restoration kind of thing. To be honest with you, would kind of like to keep some of the character, though the people that are getting at the church in Texas may not appreciate that. I don't know, but I kind of like the idea that it's had a little bit of use over the years. And so that kind of excites me. Well, there are very obviously some things that weren't quite done to spec. I'm not sure why they couldn't figure out where to put the screw at, but we're going to pull that out. So this is after most of the sanding. I would say I'm 90+% done sanding. I didn't get too crazy with some of the stuff back in the back there because honestly that's never going to be seen. Though I did sand it. Took the runs out and that kind of thing so that the polyurethane will take hold of that wood. Now down here I'm doing a little bit of testing with some stain. I'm looking at this red oak stain, and I think that's going to be the ticket right there. Well, I believe God has blessed the work here. It's turned out really well, considering I've been in such a rush with this particular piece. It's turned out really well. It's sanded up really nicely. And now I've put about 3 or 4 coats of poly on it. This is a satin finish poly. And so should provide a nice sheen, but not too much shine. So let's go around the front and take a look at it here. Back away a bit. So you can see the base is brown as well. Now on this painted surface, that was never meant to be, at least by me, it was never meant to be 100% solid color. It was meant to look like wood painted. And so if we get in here, you can see the grain of that wood and even some coloration changes, and that's okay. Nothing major, no major changes. You got to get up on it pretty close, pretty tight to be able to even see that. But it's from Indiana, man, and it's going to Texas. Got a little, look a little rustic, right? So I didn't use filler or anything like that in the grains of the wood. And so that paint gets absorbed in those grains, and that's why you get just that slight discoloration in the paint. And I could remedy that with a few different techniques, but I didn't feel like I had the time on this particular project, being that they're picking up in just a few days. And I knew that I would need, this poly would have to cure some for us to have any chance of it getting down there and not getting damaged. So I think it turned out beautiful, to be honest with you. I'm very pleased. I did not fill that and that with wood filler. At the end of the day, time management was more important, and I chose not to fill it, mainly because the Bible pulpit, the part that goes in there, which I'll show you here in just a second, that raises up and down, lowers into that section, and you can't see that, so it's really not important. And I really mean that, it's not important. You won't even be able to see it. Even the preacher won't be able to see that. This whole section will be covered, and I'll put it in eventually once it's secured up. But we got a few days on that. Let me show you the where the Bible sits, that piece. Let's go across the shop. I had to put in my 5-inch Hollands vise, and it turned out real pretty. That was one, that's where the Bible sits, obviously. So I kind of no holds bars on that one there. I did not want it to have any real issues, and so put a nice thick heavy coat on it every time. So it's got several layers, and it is pretty. Also did the underside of it as well. And so that shaft here, this wood shaft will slide down in that. So that's that. Get you kind of a close-up look. Now remember, it's still drying, so this looks real wet and glossy right now. And as this dries, the gloss will kind of come out of that, and it'll just give a kind of a satin sheen, because this is a satin poly. It is a product that I've never used before. Got a little bit of dust on here I can see. That's frustrating, but it should wipe off okay as long as I don't touch it now. So anyway, guys, this thing's going to be heading to Texas in a few days. So I hope the church down there enjoys it, and I hope it serves their pastor or their Sunday school teacher or whomever may be using it, and all the men and even women that stand over this pulpit at times, teaching and preaching, enjoy it, and it serves them well. I'm Chris with M7 Metalworks. Thanks for watching.